JP.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm Alex.
Alex, it's a pleasure.
So, we're taking some time to reflect on Black History Month, and just kind of wondering if you could go through maybe what this holiday and what this month in general kind of means to you personally. In your personal experience, being raised through the American education system, what is your personal reflection?
My personal reflection on it, Black History Month has been, I've had an on and off relationship with it. Back when I was in elementary school, I did a lot of celebrating of Black history, because I was in an elementary school that was predominantly Black and was okay with that. Once I got to high school, a lot of my teachers were white, and a lot of my classmates were white, and it was a much different atmosphere. So things kind of fell off. Blackness wasn't even as centered to the school culture as it could have been. It's so I need it as a mixed man, as somebody who is Black and white, and raised in the American education system that refused and still refuses to acknowledge what it actually is and what history actually is. It makes learning history one-sided. You don't get to really understand or comprehend what A, the damage actually was, and B, the glory that is Black people. And in my adult life, I have come back around to it, and I love Black History Month, and I love being Black 24/7, 365, but for 1 month, for 28 days, there is an exception, in everybody's mind. It's like, it's Black History Month, all right, whatever.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, we'll let you have it for a month. We'll do your little Spotify playlists. We'll do your little Black history category in your favorite television show or your favorite streaming services, and I like that. I need that, because without that, you don't get to see anything. You don't get to see anything. Shit. Martin Luther King Day is January 15th. You don't hear nothing about Martin Luther King except for on January 15th. And it's like, what? Why? Even though his birthday was 3 days ago? What? Why? What? No way. So I take it for what it is, and I live in it. I sit in it, and I revel in it.
You talk about coming to this kind of rediscovery of it, kind of rediscovering what it means for you to love, to have the Black identity. I'm wondering to what extent you think the practice of Black History Month, like throughout your life, is kind of contributing to that identity. It's kind of reinforced, changed. Where does your personal identity get tied up in this larger monthly discussion?
I love the word reinforces, because there is just constant pride. For a short amount of time, everybody is able to see, who you are and letting you be your best self. So that allows you, just for 28 whole days, to just learn unadulterated. It's an unfiltered, just here, have it. Do whatever you want. And everybody's in on it. All your Black friends are in on it. All your Black friends are like, yo, here's this Black history fact. TikTok, all about it. Because for a month, everybody is in on it. So all of a sudden, you have this history class that is constantly going on. It's almost as if you're going to school and you have a semester of like African American studies on a much lower degree. It's really empowering for me, I guess. I've been reading a lot of books, and I've been learning a lot of information for several years now, just nonstop. And Black History Month is the one time where I get to say, yo, hey, by the way, today's Black History fact, here you go. Today's fact, boom. And not have people like, what are you doing? They're like, oh, that's great. Ha, I never knew that. Oh my gosh, wow. It's like,
You spend so much time accumulating all this knowledge about where you come from. You finally have a chance to share it.
yes, exactly. I think it's needed for anybody, because at the same time you have folks who are having that revelation for the first time. You know, they might be out on their own for the first time. They might be in college for the first time, and all of a sudden, you know, instead of having a couple of, you know, white friends or your white parents, oh, that's great, oh, that's cool, good, yay. You now have, like, all these people for the first time. And all of a sudden, like, it's like the world opened up for you. The world is goddamn it, your oyster. And you're learning all this new information. You're like, oh, that's awful. Ugh, gross. You're like, oh, these books and these people. And oh, man, what? Ah, yeah. You're able to dance out in the street for funsies. No judgment. Say, it's Black History Month. Let them have it. You know? I love that. It's important. It's needed. It's needed for the soul.
So, with Black History Month being the kind of month of awareness, specifically awareness of achievements, of struggles, do you feel that as a country we're currently doing enough to honor the achievements specifically of members of the Black community who have contributed in excess to this country?
No. No. And like, no. It's performative as heck for that same reason that like everybody is so jazzed. Everybody who is Black is so jazzed about it. The capitalistic white country that is America goes, oh, we can make money off of this? Let's do it. Oh, we can get our props in? Oh, here we go. So no, because if the way to honor Black people on Black History Month is to let Black people do whatever the hell they want. If you want the truth, like, if for a month, get rid of police surveillance in Black neighborhoods, get rid of, or, you know, get all the Black politicians together and promote them. Get rid of all the folks who have been convicted of crimes that, you know, your white cousin gets away with every single day. It's the same dynamic of we're gonna arrest Black people for the same thing that we let white people get away with all the time. And we're going to take advantage of it, and we're going to let white people profit off of the same thing that Black people get incriminated for. What? So maybe for a month, you get rid of all that nonsense. Maybe at that point, I'll say, oh, you're doing enough. Never, absolutely not, unless the streets are paved in Black Lives Matter and activists and painted. You got murals all over this place of the Black inventors, the Black musicians, the folks that have made this country the way it is, the folks that have truly made this country great, without the you know, the folks that have made this country what it is. No. I just found out this morning that the person who invented the doorknob was Black. What? Yeah, exactly. So like, until all of that is truly brought to life for a month, for a year, that's when I'll say, oh, yeah, y'all are doing enough. That's you knew what you were doing when you asked me that question.
So in the spirit of celebration, specifically, people that we should be honoring, do you have any names that immediately pop into your head, like, that you want to bring to the spotlight? Do you think a name that people should start to attach to Black history?
Amiri Baraka, I don't think gets enough credit. He wrote, this. He was up, alive, and awake during the Black Arts movement, which was in the late '60s, early '70s. That was really just. It was Black Power really becoming Black Power, and watching how art molded itself, and how Black artists were coming to life during this coming of power when Kwame Ture said Black Power. 'Cause Black Power was created by one black man. Medgar Evers, somebody you gotta give love to because he was out there fighting the good fight. He was a black lawyer fighting for black people, which is not something that you see a lot of times because you have the idiot attorney general in Kentucky that I'm not going to name, that decided that there wasn't enough evidence in the Breonna Taylor incident to convict anybody. We need less of that and more folks like Medgar who were fighting for black people, because there are not enough folks that do that. Read Martin Luther King. For the love of anybody, please read Martin Luther King.
Read.
Yes.
Listen.
Like, not just listen, because what gets highlighted is the I Have a Dream speech. What gets highlighted is a lot of his work in the early 1960s, up until 1963, up until the March on Washington. What they don't highlight is how Martin felt after segregation was ended. In '67, he addressed the war that was going on at the time. I want to say it was the Vietnam War, but I could be dead wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's the Vietnam War. Why are we going to dedicate time to killing people when on our own home turf, we need to be saving people? Martin had a way of speaking that is, I'm going to just do this, and I hope that translates. And he applies that to his writing. He's a brilliant young man. He was a brilliant young man. Read James Baldwin, but not early James Baldwin. I mean, you could read early James Baldwin and late James Baldwin, but I think you're missing out if you read a lot of his early stuff, because later in his life, he decided to, in his early career, he had a lot of debate on whether or not he wanted to be a black writer. And what he means by a black writer is writing about the political issues that are happening for black people, as opposed to just yeah, I observe it. I'm writing about, my life in Harlem, and, it was hard, but that's just the territory, as opposed to when he wrote The Fire Next Time. The Fire Next Time is all of a sudden he starts to speak on it. He gave his opinion on it, and his opinion was hardcore. He was brilliant about the way that he was able to wrap in the beautiful words and make it a story and talk about his life, and then talk about how history impacted his childhood and how history impacted his look on religion and how history changed the way that he looked at himself and how his beauty standards were awful and how history affected his parents, which affected the way his parents raised him. He's able to wrap all that up and toss it into a little essay, say, boop, there you go. And all of a sudden you're like, what? Oh man. So read later James Baldwin, because that's when he really starts to become alive. He saw the death of Malcolm and the death of Martin and the death of Medgar, which is the basis for I Am Not Your Negro. He saw all of these human beings who were going to change the world and get cut down. And all of a sudden that changes how he views the world, why he decides that now is the time to write this stuff. I cannot just be an American writer. I have to be an American black writer.
The NAACP wrote somewhat recently about Carter G. Woodson's words on how at a certain point in the future, we might not have a need for Black History Month. Given everything that's happened in the last year, 5 years, 10, do you feel as though we're currently on that trajectory?
To say that there is not going to be a need for a Black History Month is absolutely disgraceful to what has been done to Black people. It is absolutely disgraceful to say that we're probably not going to need it. It's probably just going to be, Black History 24/7. No, we need a month. No, we need 2 months. We need 3 months. We need a year. We need the next year to be Black History Year. We need the next 5 years to be dedicated to Black history. And you know what? Yes, we need a label for it, so that the folks who drive around in their Blue Lives Matter wave flagging trucks to go, oh, it's just this Black Lives Matter propaganda, da, 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 da. No, to let them recognize that no. Because as I said before, y'all need to honor the folks who have built this country from the ground up. You need to honor the folks who have built whole countries, including this one. For 250 years, Black folks were silenced. For 200 and something years, they were considered, what, 3/5 of a person? You think that in the next 5 years we're gonna be able to say, it's all right. You're forgiven. It's okay. No! Because there's gonna come a time where Black folks are gonna be up, dancing, singing in every single person's face. That's what we need. And then we need to throw on top of that a Black History Month to further justify, to shut down the streets everywhere. Because it's barely recognized in this city alone. Barely recognized. You walk down the street, you're gonna get a couple of stores with signs that say Black Lives Matter, and that's great, that's wonderful. That should have been happening this entire time. Where are the Black businesses? I don't know. Why are there not Black businesses throughout this entire space? Because I guarantee you, if you allow some Black folks to take in any of these spaces, it will be booming. Because that's what Black folks do. They take all the garbage, all the nonsense, all the 200 and something years, and they say, that's cool, yeah. All right, I got it. And then they make gold out of it. Because Black people are brilliant. So we need to constantly recognize that brilliance. And we're not gonna just, here's your Black History Month channel on Spotify. No. Because if y'all aren't able to recognize the fact that Black people have contributed literally anything that is brilliant, that is genius to this country, like, say, I don't know, rap music, and y'all are gonna sit there and copy that and not honor that? Shoot, there was a movie that was put up like 2 days ago called Malcolm and Marie, starring Zendaya and John David Washington. I love that movie. But there came a point where I realized that a white man wrote this story about 2 Black folks, about Black love. Now, what can you tell me about Black love? What can this white man tell me about Black love between a Black woman and a Black man? You can't. You cannot tell that story because that is not your story to tell. If you have the money, the funds, the means to promote that, that's a whole other story. If you can produce that story, great. But don't write that story. You don't get to make that story. You don't get to dictate when we can have Black History Month versus when we can't have Black History Month. No, absolutely not. No way.
What advice would you give to allies who are maybe starting to get a little bit more in tune with Black liberation, struggles for equality? What is your guidance essentially for people to get more active, to become a part of this, maybe without undermining the effort itself?
I'm gonna kind of contradict myself. Just bear with me. So when I was doing some marches in I think not AG but Atascadero, I think it was. There's this white girl who was like, all right, all the white people get in the way of the black people to protect them, make a wall around them. You know, there's that method. Use your body. Get in the way. Don't let the bullets hit us first. Because we already been through that. We already did that. We already put our bodies on the line. We did that shit in the 60s, and it was hard. And you had students, you had children, you had kids getting hosed down. The kids getting the folks that are getting hosed down in those clips, those are kids. They're students. In that same vein, get out of our way. Let black voices speak for themselves. Don't try to speak for the black community. Use your platform. Let a black person onto your platform and say what they want to say. And maybe you shouldn't say that. Maybe we'll be a little bit nicer. Why are you attacking No, let them say what the hell they want to say and get out of the way. Find ways to elevate that platform. Y'all got the money. Y'all got the power. Y'all got the money. Y'all got the power. Take that money. Take that power. Help the folks out who were abandoned when it came to financial literacy, were abandoned when it came to an education system. Y'all know how politics work. Y'all know how banks work. Y'all know how to take out loans. Y'all know how to get a good credit score. Utilize it because you know how to. Utilize it because if we're sitting there constantly having to dig and dig and dig, and all of a sudden the shovel breaks, or the police come, the shovel breaks, and we aren't able to dig anymore, we need another person to hand us a better shovel. Not hand us a fork, not hand us a spoon, hand us a new shovel, hand us a better shovel. Use the education that y'all were able to get. Utilize that and teach, and then get out of the way and let them thrive with the education. Give them the books. Say, oh, I read this, I read that, I read this. Go ahead, have it. I'm gonna leave you alone from there. Let black people thrive.
Speaking now as your educator, to give you as true a version of your history as I can, since it is through your sense of your own history that you arrive at your identity.
Art comes from here. Blues comes from here. You know, dance comes from the body. You know, and dancing and singing is an expression of emotion. There's a reason why you need to move your feet when you hear some music going on.